Thank you, Joanna, and good morning, everyone. I am very familiar with Spectrumotion because I've been involved with it for years and I'm actually on the board. But in addition to that, I work for the city of Irvine and I am the Transit and Active Administration Administrator for the city and a bike commuter myself. So today I want to talk about my experience bike commuting and what you might need if you want to become a bike commuter. Of top importance when commuting by bike is safety. I highly recommend the League of American Bicyclists Smart Cycling course if you want to start commuting by bike. It's a half-day course that really prepares you to be out on the road with more skill and safety. And you can go online to the League of American Bicyclists to find one in the area. There's usually one going on somewhere in Southern California. Cost is pretty reasonable and very knowledgeable instructors, so I highly recommend that. Bikes these days can take you easily on a commute of 1 to 30 miles or even more with ease. And if your commute is longer and you don't want to do the full commute by bike, you can even combine bike commuting with public transit. As you can see in the photos there, Metrolink has a bike car. That's a very fancy logo on that one. Sometimes it just says bike car in very simple words, but it's usually near the middle of each train. And all OCTA buses and iShuttle buses have bike racks on the front. So you can do part of the commute by public transit, take your bike, and then finish it off by bike. So if you begin bike commuting, it's best, as the sergeants indicated, to utilize dedicated on-street bike lanes where possible. And that looks kind of like in the picture there in the middle. A bike lane, they're kind of riding right on the edge, which I tend not to do. Some people like to do that, but I kind of ride right up the middle of the bike lane. But it gets you out of the way of traffic. It is a good way to go and is required when available. If you live and work in Irvine, thankfully the city has one of the best networks around with 286 miles of on-street bike lanes, and that's counting both sides of the street. When using these, always ride with traffic, as you heard, and stay to the right. If you come along a slower bike, pass it on the left, making sure there's no cars coming up. Time it well, speak to the person you're coming up to. Make eye contact with drivers at intersections and driveways. That's really crucial. It's also crucial while you're going at intersections and driveways is the area where it's really important you're going with the direction of traffic. If you're not doing that, a car coming out of a driveway doesn't expect you coming the other way and you may get hit. You want to go with traffic always. Always wear a helmet. Be predictable, ride in a straight line, signal your moves. And finally, be seen. Wear reflective clothing and lights if you're bike commuting. I commute by bike year round, so there are times I start in the morning in the dark and in the evening in the dark, and I have reflective materials and lights, and I'll talk about that later. If there are off-street bikeways on your commute, use those when possible. Irvine has over 78 miles of those in the city. That's kind of like the picture there on the lower right there. You can see it looks often like a wide sidewalk in some cases. Others it's more pavement. But when you're on those, because they're for pedestrians and bikes, make sure you're watching out for pedestrians. You may never go over 20 miles per hour on the shared paths and never more than what is safe for the conditions. So what bike should you use? That's a good question. I have used 3 kinds of bikes through my years of bike commuting, and that's actually the pictures that are here. From 2006 to 2018, I used the bike that's on the lower left. It's an old classic steel 15 speed that I got from Costco in the early 90s. I still have it. I still use it. It's great. I had fenders on it while commuting. Then in 2019, I bought a Type 1 e-bike, which is there in the center. It's a pedal assist, and that's what I always do when I'm riding an e-bike. It has a throttle, but I really never use that. It has it's a pedal assist motor, 21 gears, maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. It'll go 30 miles on one charge. I got it for $635 on Amazon in 2019, and it's still going strong. My wife started really being interested in biking for fun, and she tried that e-bike and loved it. So I gave it up to her. And so then just in 2022, I bought a Type 3 e-bike shown on the right. It has a larger battery. It'll go more than 50 miles on one charge. It will go up to 28 miles per hour with pedal assist, up to 20 by throttle. And it costs $1,600, just to give you an idea. So bike equipment. Once you have your bike, there is some equipment you would likely need or want when bike commuting. Some essentials for safety would be a mirror. You can see on kind of sideways there, but the photo on the left, you can see a mirror that I mounted on the bike on the left side. What that does is it allows you to see traffic coming up from behind without having to turn your head. Some people like mirrors, some don't. I've used both, but it can be a way to kind of help you see what's coming up on the left. There's also mirrors you can buy that'll hook onto your helmet. A bell's always good. It gives you a gentle warning to other bicyclists or pedestrians that you're approaching or passing. And lights are essential. You can see in the upper picture, there's the front light from my e-bike. Also has back lights. Those are essential when commuting in the dark. And in addition to those safety items, I would recommend a rack, such as seen there in the lower central picture, so you can hold bags or other items. I used to commute with just a backpack without a rack. That can make you sweat quite a bit in the back. It's nice to have them there, and it also keeps the balance a little better to have a rack and items. So finally, I would go on your bike with hybrid tires. You can kind of see what a hybrid tire looks like there on the right. It's wider like a mountain bike, but without the mountain bike bumps, so it's smoother like a street tire. I like them because they allow for a smoother ride with less effort, but still allow you to go onto the dirt or grass easily if needed. So that's what I like. Some personal equipment to get while you're commuting. For safety, always wear a helmet. It's just, there's no reason not to wear a helmet, and every reason to. It will keep you safe, safer. And I used to say this, and you can see there's a reflective vest and reflective bands that I also wear. The reflective bands go on my ankles, help you be seen at night. The reflecting vest helps you be seen. And you can get those like at Home Depot, or at least the vest. I got the vest and leg bands on Amazon for less than $20 total. Some people are like, well, they're not very fashionable. There are more fashionable styles of reflectors. I'm cheap. I got the cheapest ones, and I don't care how I look while I'm out there. I just want to be safe. I always have a comment or a phrase that better a dork than dead. So for comfort on the colder mornings, it's good to have a light windbreaker and gloves. Like you can see there, it's good to have sunglasses or safety glasses to protect your eyes from bugs or things as you're going along. Finally, get yourself a good U-lock and some basic bike tools, which usually just need a couple wrenches that fit most things in your bike, maybe a screwdriver. I also carry a tire patch kit, as you can see there, and a little tire changing tool. They're cheap. You can get them either online or at bike stores. When you're commuting by bike, you might think, well, where do you carry all that stuff? So just like you have in your car, your bike needs a trunk of sorts and it carries stuff for your office. So this can be provided with panniers, which are bags you can put on a rack. And you can see there's my 3-bag set of panniers, which attach to the rack on the back of the bike. In the top bag, I carry my laptop because I'm in a hybrid schedule. I'm working from home today. So I carry my laptop home, take it back when I'm working in the office. So I carry papers, laptop in the top bag. I carry on the left side my bike tools and clothes. And then on the right side, I carry the battery charger for the battery. And it also has extra room in that bag for groceries or miscellaneous items when needed. One of the things you have to figure out if you're bike commuting is where you're going to park. If you're going to be parking outside, the kind of racks I like are those that you can see on the left. They're a post and loop bike rack. If you have one of those near your work or where you're wanting to park, those are better than some of the other kind of wheel racks because they put no pressure on your wheels. Sometimes if you put them in the other kind, you can get your wheel bent. Also, it lets your bike stand upright, allows you to lock your frame to the loop using your U-lock, and it even allows you to attach your front wheel and seat with a cable if you wish, which you can see in the middle picture. And that's actually the mayor of Irvine. We were out for an event and she wanted a photo by, that's actually my bike, but and by the racks that we had put in there at Bill Barber Park. But you can see there's a cable locking up the front tire and the seat. And then I have a U-lock around the frame to the deal. So it kind of locks up everything that way with a post and loop bike rack. The other things you can do sometimes is get some places like the Irvine station have secured lockers you can rent and keep your bike out of the elements, and that's nice. Many bike commuters are able to put their bike inside their office building, which is what I do. There's a place in a stairwell where people can lock their bikes. And some people I know, especially if they have a really fancy bike, will even take their bike inside their office if allowed. So there are various ways to deal with parking. So that's kind of the basics of bike commuting. I love bike commuting because it saves me money. It is a refreshing day to start and end your day, and even provides me with kind of a regular cardiovascular workout daily. So if you're interested, I'd recommend it. And if we have time for question 2 at the end, I'd be happy to answer them. Any questions?